Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of Through the Lens. If you're new to the channel and you don't know what Through the Lens is just where I sit down and I talk about like something that I've done in the way of videography. Currently I'm working on a documentary. I am a videographer and I work with a team of people that do events, and I usually go and shoot their events. Most time I go and shoot their events, and I do stuff like that in the way that is my job. That is kind of what I do to earn fundage. I'll talk about other things on Through the Lens. I'll talk about new camera gear or new technology coming out, or camera gear that I might want to get in the near future. Through the Lens is kind of wide open as far as what I'm going to talk about. It could be a number of things. Mostly I'm going to talk about things that I've done, that I recently done over the weekend. The majority of my work is done over the weekend. So I usually go out and I shoot, because these events take place, usually weekend evenings, and that's where the majority of my work comes in at. So a lot of times I'm going to be talking about shooting the documentary. I've talked a lot about that. I just recently did a Cubs event, and I talked about that in my last Through the Lens, which you can check out. There's a little thing in one of these corners, a little eye in a circle that pops up. You can click on that and watch the last episode of Through the Lens. But anyway, this time I'm going to talk a little bit about when I went and shot some footage at One Winter Night. Now, One Winter Night is a fundraiser to raise money to bring awareness to homelessness, and I'm hoping that money is going to directly affect homeless people. But I did go and shoot there over the weekend, and what One Winter Night is where people raise money. Through sponsorships and things. They try to raise money, and then they go and they spend the night in a cardboard box on the streets of downtown Champaign, Illinois. And I mean, it's a bold thing to do, because first of all, you're bringing awareness to it. Another thing is you're trying to help out people who are homeless. And let's think about it. A lot of homeless people are veterans. A lot of homeless people are people who are suffering from being in the military and being through a lot of stuff, and the stress and the PTSD and all this stuff that comes along with being in the military and going to war and dealing with those things. So a lot of them are veterans. A lot of homeless people are veterans, and they deserve our respect, and our help and our charity. And I know that they probably don't want our charity. They don't want to have to be a charity case, and we don't see them as that. We're just seeing them as someone in need who fought for our country and fought for our freedom and put their lives on the line for us, and didn't have to. And so to think that a big percentage, and I don't really know the statistics, and I'm sure you can Google it and find out, but a big portion of homeless people are veterans. So, and then just a lot of other people who ended up in a bad way and have no home. So, which is kind of something that I really want to help out. And so, because I shared in one of the episodes of Through the Lens, I think it was an episode of Through the Lens, or maybe I was just talking, I don't know. I shared about the time that and it is a video of its own, actually. Now that I remember, I shared a time when I was homeless for X amount of months. I was homeless, and the reason is because, and if you haven't watched that, you can go watch it. Maybe I'll put it at the end of the video or link it below. The reason was because where I came from was tough. The home that I was leaving was tough, and I felt that being on the streets was better. So it was by my own choice. I was kind of homeless. I had a home to go to, but it wasn't nowhere to be nor was it very homey. Anyway, so through the one winter night, went to one winter night, set up to record. I was really scraping for time to get there to get the drone in the air. I really wanted drone footage for the documentary, and so I wanted to get there and get the drone in the air. Well, the sun we was getting there. It was getting close to 5 o'clock. The sun was supposed to set at 5:14. I got there in time to get the drone in the air. Now this weekend I ran into some technical problems, but all the technical problems, it just kind of worked itself out, which is awesome because it needed to be worked out. And I made the mistake of having this fat guy in here again. He was sleeping in the big old window right in front of me. That's what I use for natural light. I don't even turn on my studio lights. I just use this big old window right in front of me. I'm getting some great natural light, even with it being a very cloudy day outside. And this guy was laying in the window just watching, but then he wants to get up and move around and get in the way. And as much as we love Frisky, you can't be in here, dude. I'll be right back. Okay. Alrighty. So, I am using a bit of a different mic this time to shoot this episode, to get audio of this episode. So let's hope the mic is working well. I guess I won't know until after this episode. And if it didn't work, then I guess I'll be reshooting this episode. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Anyway, so yes, I got there. The sun was starting to set. I got the drone. I literally got out of the car, grabbed the drone, set it down, got everything ready to roll, got this thing up in the air, and I walked. As I'm walking, I'm flying my drone. Of course, I'm looking at the FPV. I'm looking at the screen, and I'm just walking across this parking lot, flying the drone over to where I needed to be, and then I just started flying around. I absolutely got the footage. But what happened is when I landed the drone, it wasn't recording anymore, which I didn't pay attention to. My little telemetry, my screen tells me if I'm recording. When I took off, I was recording, so I stopped kind of paying attention to that. Well, as I'm landing, I looked at that, and I'm like, and it said I wasn't recording, and I'm like, no, like how much did I miss? Like, and it said, and then when I looked at the GoPro said disc full. And I'm like, no way, like how much didn't I get? How much didn't I record? But it just so happened that it filled up as I was landing. So as I was descending to land is when it filled up. So I got everything. Whew, because what happened was I put a 2 gigabyte SD card in my GoPro. I grabbed the wrong one. I've got 16 gigs, 32, 64s. Those are the ones I'm usually sticking in the GoPro. For some reason, I've got this little 2 gigger that I hang on to, I guess, just for emergency reasons. And I accidentally stuck that in the GoPro, which I never put that disc in there. So it is clearly marked now and will never happen again. But it did get my footage. I got every bit of footage. So even though it said disc full, it was on the descent. When I got home and watched, I was like, yes, I got everything. And it was cold that evening, Friday, February 3rd. It was very cold, colder than I thought it was going to be. So I get out of the car, and I brought gloves and a coat and a hood and all this stuff, and I'm bundled up. I got my backpack on. After I flew the drone, I flew it back to the car. I landed it. I put all that gear back in the car, threw on my camera bag backpack, and grabbed my tripod and my camera, and I headed out. And I was on the streets, and I was shooting footage of all the people building their boxes in their little temporary homes, and getting ready to spend the night on the very cold streets of Champaign to kind of maybe experience a little bit, a very small scale of what it's like to not have a home, to have to brave the weather and the elements and deal with that. Now, I think some people get slightly mildly offended that this charity, and some of the homeless people as well, said that they felt like they was making fun of the homeless. And when they said that to me, I was like, I said to them, well, one specific guy, his name was Steve. He's like, they're just making fun of the homeless. They're just out there sleeping in cardboard boxes. And I was like, and he was like, because then they wake up the next morning and they go have a warm meal and go to a warm home. I said, I get what you're saying, man. I understand, like, maybe that's what it seems like, but I think the intentions are good. I think the intentions of sleeping in a box overnight to kind of give an idea, maybe a little bit of an idea of what it's like to be homeless. I don't think they're trying to make fun, and they're trying to raise money. They're trying to raise money. These people sleeping in these boxes want to raise money for the homeless. So I think he had a different attitude once. Once I said that, I think he had a little bit of a different attitude. But anyway, I did see some homeless people out on the streets downtown, holding up signs and things, and to see a homeless person. I'm also aware that sometimes people are scamming. I'm very aware, and the homeless people have pointed some of them out to me. And these people have a home to go to, and they're just out there scamming. That's how they make money, and they go home with $600-700 a day, taking the money away from someone who truly needs it. Because if you want to look at it this way, these guys go to a home, and they live in a home, and then they're making $600-700 a day. $600 to $700 a day for a homeless person, if he can get that much, if he can, and that's on a very good day. That's on a very good day, but that will give them a hotel room and a little bit of food for a week. So it sounds like a lot of money a day, but when you're homeless, it's not a lot of money. Because that will get you in a hotel room, $45 a night to live in a hotel room, and so you pay that for a whole week, and then you need to try to feed yourself as well. So and these guys aren't getting this on a daily basis. They're not. And for someone to be out there who doesn't need it and scamming for that money, that's not cool. But anyway, that has nothing to do with well, kind of it does, but it just irks me when they pointed a few of those guys out to me. I wanted to put the camera in their face and call them out and be like, what are you doing, and really call them out. But then I don't know if I don't want to do that. They should be called out. I do want to do that, and they should be called out, and it should be like, listen, man, these people need the money that you're scamming for to go home and live in your nice, warm, comfy house, and and while other people in your household go to work and pay for it. That's terrible. But anyway, one winter night. So one winter night happened. There was loads and loads and loads of people there, and I think these people try to raise a minimum of $1,000 each person through sponsorships, through people, paying, sponsoring them. And if that's the case, if each person there raised $1,000, they raised a nice chunk of money to maybe go to these shelters and help keep these shelters open and directly affect the lives of homeless people. I don't know a lot about this charity, and the word on the street through the homeless people wasn't very positive about this charity. But I don't know. I have high hopes that this charity is bringing awareness and directly affecting the lives of homeless people through the fundraiser. I hope. I don't know why somebody would put so much time and effort into doing it, or even start doing it if it wasn't for a good cause. But then again, you never know. You never know. So I'm not saying I'm not even affiliated with this fundraiser. It was just part. I was there just to gather footage for my documentary, and show that there are people out there who care, and the people who care, maybe not necessarily the ones putting on the event, but the people who are sleeping in a cardboard box in the bitter cold all night long and raised money. In their hearts, it's for the homeless people, and there's people out there who care. A lot of people out there who care. it was cool. It was awesome seeing that many people. It was awesome seeing like the little shelters that they were building, and some people were going all out. It was kind of to almost defeated the purpose of trying to experience a homeless situation, because they had blankets and chairs. So that's probably why some of the homeless seen it as they're making fun of us, because they got a cardboard box shelter, but they have all the amenities of home. They had iPads and cell phones and computers and food and snacks, and it's like, but I mean, they still raised money. So, but in my opinion, if I was going to do that, and I didn't brave the cold, I shot footage for a couple hours into the dark, and I decided that's enough. I was freezing, and I mean, my original plan was to stay out there from 6 in the evening to 6 in the morning. And I did it. I shot a footage for a couple hours, and I left. I mean, it didn't make sense to me to stay there. I didn't bring a shelter or do the donation thing, raise money to sleep there. I didn't bring anything to sleep in. And, and as the night wound down and people started climbing in their cardboard boxes to go to sleep, it was kind of pointless for me to even be there. So I braved the cold for a couple hours, and then I left, and I got the footage that I wanted to get for this documentary. And honestly, guys, my sole goal for this documentary, because I'm not making any money on this documentary, I didn't ever even plan to. I'm not looking for recognition, like as a guy who filmed a homeless documentary. My sole goal, and this is the honest to God truth, is to raise awareness. There's homeless people practically in our backyards, everywhere in the United States, all over the place. Every city and small town, there's people who have no homes. There's people who are going hungry. And not just people, there's families. There's families out there with children. And the United States has a problem, and so I think we need to focus on that problem, and we need to try to help these people out, because life is, simply put, it's just tough. And for some people, they get dealt a really crappy hand of cards, and it's not fair, especially our veterans. And people can experience PTSD and for all sorts of other reasons. They can come from a very terrible childhood and experience the same level of stress and stress-related illnesses and mental illnesses as a soldier. Now, I know the level of respect should and is different when someone fights for our country and our freedom. They and then they develop emotional problems. They deserve our respect, but there's people out there who come from childhoods that are possibly worse than seeing a war happen in front of your eyes, that are beaten and starved and locked up. And think about it, this is happening as well. And then these are people who grow up to have so many issues from being treated so poorly at home that they cannot cope in society, and next thing you know, they're living on the streets. So if you think about the reality of homelessness and the reality of why people are out there, it's not because they're lazy or because they got a drug problem or because they got an alcohol problem. Granted, that's true in some cases, but those people need our help also. Those people are dealing with an illness of addiction that becomes such a vice in their life that they can't break free. And that's sad. So, the one winter night was okay. I would have much rather been out there hanging out with Jeff or Kevin or Steve or some of the others, and just spending time with them when the majority of the population where they're at ignore them. I would have much rather been doing that. I appreciate the people who went out there for an evening and raised money. That's fantastic. Let's hope it helps. Let's hope it directly affects the homeless people, and let's hope that money goes where it needs to go too. And let's hope that we can start paying more attention to this homelessness problem and start paying more attention to them. Don't just walk past them and not make eye contact. They're people too. They're humans too. And basically they're out there doing their job. The cat's trying to get in. They're working. They're panhandling for change. It's all they can do. Don't ignore them. At least say hi. Even if you don't have any change, at least say hi. But I cannot imagine that you don't have some change in your pocket or in your purse. My cat. But if you don't, and if you're working hard and you're struggling and you don't have a lot of cash in your bank, believe me, I can relate to that. At least say hi. At least pay attention to them. Don't ignore them. Because as I spent a day with a man named Jeff, he said I would see a lot of that, people just not paying attention. And he is a man with a very big heart, and he tries to give helpful advice to people that he sees. And a lot of these people who see him on a daily basis think a lot of him. And I've seen a lot of people just ignore him. And that's one thing that breaks his heart. It's like they just act like I don't exist. And it's true. I've seen it with my own eyes, and it sucks. It's stupid. Don't be that way. Don't be that person. They're people too, and they may not be super clean, or they may be sitting on the street shaking a cup full of change, and maybe that's not appealing to you. But you know what? They're human beings, just the same as you, and that could end up being you or someone you know, someone you care about. It could happen. You never know. You never know. And anyway, so there you have it. That was my one winter night event, and as I said, it was okay. I would have much rather been spending time with my homeless friends, and no, I don't give them money. I have bought them food. I have given them coffee. I gave my other buddy Jeff, who's in a wheelchair, a coat, which he desperately needed. I don't give them money because I don't have a lot of money myself. I do live in a house, and my wife has a job, and I have a job, and we put our kids through school, and we pay our bills, and we're not rich people. By far are we rich people. I'm okay with that, absolutely okay with that. God has blessed me with a roof over my head, and you can't ask for much more than that. A healthy family and a roof over your head and food in the fridge. Life's good. But man, my heart goes out to these guys. It goes out to these guys. So I can't give them money because I don't have money. But I can spend time with them, and I can tell them my intentions and my hopes for them, and someday maybe they don't have to live on the streets and they have a nice, comfortable place to go. My hopes for them is that, absolutely that. And that maybe they can be comfortable and happy and healthy and have food and not have to deal with what they deal with on a daily basis. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I do. Alrighty, guys. This is through the episode of Through the Lens. Not a very cheerful episode. I apologize for that. I get very emotional and wrapped up in my emotions sometimes when I'm talking about something that means a lot to me. And this really does. It really, really does. So, thank you guys for coming to the Steve Tooley channel, and thank you for watching this episode of Through the Lens. And my next episode, I'm going to start talking about some new camera gear I want to get my hands on, and some technology, and we'll talk about a little bit about that in the next episode. Thank you for watching this episode, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. I should probably let the cat in. He really likes it in here, and I kind of like him being in here. But then when he starts walking around the camera, it freaks me out. See you in the next episode, guys.